They're testing it ahead of making it mandatory in the fall. That's what level 6 is. Forced inoculations, forced quarantines, lockdowns. For a flu that's killed less people than sporting accidents, football accidents in the last year. I mean, it is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And here's another one. Volunteers needed to test H1N1 vaccine. And then you've got the fact that these flu vaccine tests have been killing a bunch of people. I mean, my God, we have a government that approves the Gardasil shot, and then they try to engage in another hoax saying it's the law to take it because Rick Perry wants to get vaccine immunity for Merck that basically funded the whole Texas legislature. Because when a governor says it's on the list of mandatory vaccines, that is mandatory that they put it on the list, they push, then liability protection kicks in. Merck that gave you Vioxx with the heart attacks and all the other garbage, Merck knows that Gardasil's killed a whole bunch of the girls that take it. And it doesn't even protect you from the papillomavirus. Read the drug insert for Gardasil. It just makes my head spin. So, do you think that they're going to get away with, and because they're openly announcing they're going to forcibly inoculate us in the fall. And they'll find a bunch of cowards and hypochondriacs and people that trust whatever this government's shoveling, and they're going to go out there and take the shots. It's just unbelievable. Let's go ahead and take your phone calls. We'll only get to a few in this hour, but we'll take a ton in the next hour. I think I've covered most of the different angles and points here. There's the other headline. Homeless people die after bird flu vaccine trial in Poland. In one test alone, 20-plus homeless died after being given the shot. Experimental, secret bird flu trial. Then they had labs testing the Baxter regular vaccine that had weaponized bird flu mixed in. My God, these companies are wicked. And you have the White House science chief calling for world sterilization and for all children to be taken at birth by the CPS and raised in government dormitories. A government policy book he wrote that's being implemented. These people mean business. And the guy he co-wrote it for was one of Bush's science advisors, Ehrlich. Not just John P. Holdren in his book Ecoscience. I mean, you trust these people to do anything? All right, I've made my points. I've said my piece. Let's take your calls. Phil in Florida, thanks for holding. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, hi, Alex. I'll try to be quick because I want you and the listeners to be able to hear what I have to share. We had a woman who ran for Congress a couple of times here in Florida who's put together a letter addressed to the school board out where she lives. And I think it's a great model that can be used. A couple of points that she brings out in the letter. The WHO memo of July 13th stating the vaccines have not been tested, and more importantly, they contain oil-based adjuvants, such as squalene, which was used in the anthrax vaccines. Yeah,
and then people argue squalene isn't bad. It isn't that bad if you ingest a little through your intestines, through your stomach and upper and lower intestine. The issue is that it accelerates autoimmune responses and has been proven in hundreds of government studies to cause the autoimmune swelling in the brain that causes brain damage.
And what she does is she notes these things. She links them, just like your writers do for InfoWars and Prison Planet. With the CDC planning assumption documents targeting K through 12 and infants less than 6 months.
No. They said, and I appreciate your call, those are good points. They've said that they're going after children and pregnant women, the exact groups that this hurts the worst. Look, let me just recap. They were gearing up for this flu and getting mass graves and federalization and martial law grids ready in the months before they started hyping this non-event in April. Then the non-event happens. They openly announce the UN is running America and every other major nation's response to this, the World Health Organization. Now they're saying get ready for forced inoculations, and that's the other great point. They admit it's an untested, unproven vaccine that is going to be for an earlier version, and this thing's already mutated. Just like Gardasil doesn't even block the papillomavirus. It's absolute crap. It's not even, it's incredible fraud. The whole thing's a hoax. We don't know the specifics of the hoax. We just know the whole thing's a stinking lie. Why are they doing it? We don't know. Clearly is a political cover for all the stuff they're trying to pass. Oh, thank you, Phil. Great points. Yeah, I mean, the vaccine, all the health problems, I mean, it's just insane. Folks, in 76, they gave millions of Americans the shot, and it killed tens of thousands. I could play the whole 60 Minutes piece from the 70s when it killed everybody. I mean, don't you forget the swine flu shots? Steve in Houston. Steve, you're on the air.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, Alex. Before I give you my take about this flu, I wanted to give you that quote I didn't get to the other day from The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This is an exact quote when Dr. or Professor Wells' friend is asking him about his preoccupation with time. This is what he said. I don't much care for the time I was born into. It seems people aren't dying fast enough these days. They call upon science to invent new, more efficient weapons to depopulate the earth.
Yeah, no. H.G. Wells was a top eugenicist, and he did predictive programming in his fiction. They are the Morlocks, we are the Eloi, the mindless idiots running around they feed on. He wrote scores of nonfiction, one titled The New World Order, calling for world eugenics, world sterilization, and then now we have a government policy textbook written by the science czar calling for all of this, and the same guys saying they want to kill us want us to take their shot, and they were gearing up for mass graves before this for the flu, and had already put in patents for the very swine flu vaccine a year before.
Here's my take on this whole thing, okay? When you consider what you just quoted from his so-called science czar and the fact that he's pushing this so-called health care plan and these so-called government vaccine squads where he wants to enforce his 3 shots per person.
That's right. He's now Dr. Obama. He says you need 3 now.
You said the government's bought up now, 200 million vaccine doses of the
Well, that's how much they just made. They're going to get the other 100 million they need. Yeah, they have 195 mil.
Right. So what I believe they're doing is, you pegged it. This thing to start with, it was a hoax as far as the effect they were saying. So,
but that was the smoke screen to get their system in place. Go ahead.
Right. They may be gearing up to release some real epidemic, but I think more importantly, what they're planning on doing is they're trying to scare people into taking what will kill them, which is the vaccines, which, as you pointed out, have live cancer viruses and other things in them.
Absolutely. They admit that over 200 million Americans got cancer from the cancer viruses put in the polio vaccine alone, and every major vaccine line they study has cancer viruses implanted in it that have nothing to do with the manufacturing process. Just like half of corn syrup products have been found to have massive levels of mercury, according to the Washington Post and federal studies. It's all being added. It's eugenics. It's in the official UN documents, official State Department documents, official White House.